And he's asking how, what happened, where. And I said, it was you and Bobby Weir. I says, all the years of you sexually abusing me, and Bobby Weir, your pal, sexually molested me. And my dad was shocked about that. You know? I says, it was yous that put me here. I says, it's yous that's destroyed my life. It's yous that's fucked me up. It's yous that turned me to the drink. It's yous that turned me to the drugs. It was yous that created an animal. A violent, evil bastard.
Welcome to From Rock Bottom, the podcast where we explore real stories of struggle, survival and strength. Each weekly episode features honest conversations with people who faced mental health battles, addiction, trauma and life's darkest moments, and found a way to rise again. A quick content warning. Some of the topics we discuss may be distressing or triggering. We talk openly about mental health, addiction and other sensitive issues. Please listen with care, and if you need to, take a break or reach out for support. You're not alone, and this space is here to remind you of that.
Boom, and we are on. Today I've got the big privilege to be joined by John McCullum. He's going to share with us his heartbreaking story of being a victim of sexual abuse and sexual molestation for a decade, and how that affected him later life in relationships, drugs, violence, PTSD, and how he's coping with it now day to day. John, how you doing?
I'm sweet, mate. It's been an absolute pleasure. This has been a long time coming, this one, eh?
It has.
But we've managed to get here.
Yeah, I appreciate you travelling.
Brilliant, mate. I love your podcast. That's what inspired me.
Look at that. I know you're travelling, what, 6 hours?
No, 4.5 hours. Yeah, 4.5 hours.
We'll say
to get
6,
here.
someone says 6.
No.
Right, John, I know your story starts at childhood, so just take me back, set me the dynamics, mom, dad, brothers, sisters, and we go from your childhood.
Oh, my family, back in the 70s, 80s, you know, I was in 1965 baby, and brought up in the 70s, 80s. Life was really good, it was simple, it was easy. My family was, I had my brother, my twin sister, unfortunately she passed away, and my elder sister, So there's 4 years in the family. My mum was a stay-at-home mum, old-fashioned mum. My dad worked, and he was an amazing family man.
Yeah.
You know, that was the generation we were brought up with. But unfortunate side it was, the things he did to me was wrong. And that was the hard bit. And so, yeah, family dynamics were amazing. Really looked after us. Holidays here, there, everywhere. I know as a family should be.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, it's the other side of it that's...
In the background.
Yeah, it affected me.
So tell me about your dad's.
My dad was an engineer.
Okay.
You know, he worked in brickworks, etc. You know, he was a well-respected man in that. But unfortunately, it was at that side of him when my dad sexually abused me, and his friend called Bobby Weir, he sexually molested me. And obviously, my first memory, it was about 4.5, 5-year-old, and my last memory was about 14.5, 15.
So from your recollection, that's when you started, when you were about 4.5?
Yeah.
And how did it start? Like, did it get gradually worse, or was it 0 to 100 immediately?
No, it got gradually worse.
Okay.
Just because simple things that happened, but then it slowly become gradually worse.
Yeah.
And through time it become worse and worse, and things that happened become worse. The worst time I can ever remember was my dad was working in the Middle East, in Bahrain, and myself and my 2 sisters went over there, and it was basically summer holidays. I mean, it was an amazing place, you know, a different culture. And basically for the 6 weeks it was game on, basically every other night, and it became worse when my dad was drinking.
Yeah.
Because obviously, like I say, I was a 2-bedroom apartment, my 2 sisters slept in one bed and I slept in a bed beside my dad. So basically it would become game on all the time. I don't get into details with the things that happened because that's rather personal, and I don't think it's in the public interest.
Of course, really. Yeah.
So that's the sort of side I don't speak about. But after that, I went back over the Middle East again. I was supposed to be going to college and school, etc., engineering school, but after 2 weeks I had to come back home because it basically was 2 weeks of brutality. And yeah, so I think gives you a sort of idea of the things that happened.
Yeah, so was it always when he was drinking, or would he do it sober too?
Oh no, it wasn't always when he was drinking.
Okay.
He was doing it when he was sober as well. But when he was drinking, that was when it was worse.
Was there ever any violence, or was it just sexual?
No, it wasn't any violence whatsoever. It was just sexual abuse.
Yeah, and when you beginning, like primary school age, what was your understanding of what the fuck's going on?
I didn't know any different. You actually think it's normal. You know, life is like a jigsaw, and it's only later on in life when you start piecing it together and when you really start realising, right, hold on a minute here, this was wrong, that was wrong, this was wrong, this shouldn't have happened. But you're young, you don't know.
Of course, yeah.
So you don't know, you think it's normal, you know. You think, well, that's normal, that's what dads do.
Did you ever get any, if you tell mom this and this is going to happen, or was it just, nah?
No.
Yeah.
You just accept it as a norm, this is what happens, eh? You know, the hardest bit is, you look upon is those who are supposed to protect you. Abused you.
Yeah.
And that was a hard bit to accept. But, as I say, later on in life, you don't realise it when you're young. You think it's the norm, you know, you think it's just, it happens to every kid. Until you get to a certain age in life when you realise, alright, hold on a minute here.
Did you realise it was only happening to you, or did you see anything with your siblings?
No, only me.
Did you realise that at the time?
It wasn't until later on in life, I didn't. I was about 13, 14, something like that. I think I can remember right when I realised it was only happening to me.
Yeah, so
nothing happened to my sister, nothing happened to my brother that I know of.
Yeah.
But it was only me.
So you're being sexually abused every other night, and then you get older, obviously puberty hits.
Yeah.
You go to school, you're making other male friends and they're talking about women and what they want to do to women, but then you're being sexually abused by your dads.
Yeah.
At what point did you start to realise, like, actually this isn't right?
I think it really started, I was about 15 when I realised it wasn't right. But then you realise, what can I do about it? Who can I tell? Who can I go to? Can I go to my mum? Can I tell my mum? But then it gets into your head like, well, if I tell my mum, what's going to happen?
Yeah.
Is my parents going to split up? Is my mum going to be single? Is my mum going to believe me?
Are you going to get in trouble?
Am I going to get in trouble? Exactly. So this was the thing that plays in your head all the time. And as I say, you don't realise it at the time, but then the questions keep coming in your head. But then I promised myself I wouldn't do nothing because I didn't want to hurt my mum. Because my mum didn't deserve it because she was my mum. You know? And whether she would believe me or no, I don't know.
That's always going to be the fear, isn't it?
Yeah.
How was your relationship with your dad though, like day to day?
It was just a father-son relationship. My dad was a really, really good dad, really good, but it was later on in life where I started to distance myself from my dad. There was this overwhelming fear, hatred for the things he'd done.
Yeah. Because
when you get to a certain age, you realise all the things that happened, all the things that were actually wrong, that shouldn't have happened. There becomes this fear inside you, this hatred inside you, you know, of your dad because you waited on you.
Yeah, he's hiding in plain sight in reality, isn't he?
That's absolutely in plain sight. But the thing is, nobody knows what's happening behind closed doors.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing, So it starts snowballing and you start thinking about it and it plays in your mind and plays in your mind and plays in your mind, and you don't know how to deal with it, you don't know who to talk to. You get to a point in life where, right, okay, I started drinking. Drinking was my way of dealing with it.
Yeah.
So you just go to the pub every weekend, get absolutely hammered, and that was your way of coping with it, that was your way of dealing with it. But I had an overwhelming, massive hatred for my dad. And if I could have and got away with it, I actually would have killed my dad.
Yeah.
That was the amount of hatred I had.
Yeah.
You know, and it is sad to say that, but that's the effects it had on me. You know, the overwhelming hatred and despise the man who was supposed to take care of me and look after me as a dad, father figure. It was overwhelming.
Yeah, and he's broken everyone's trust.
Oh, absolutely.
Do you know what I mean? He has broken everyone's trust. He's meant to look after you, you protect her, you provide that, everything.
That was the hardest bit, when you realise, look, you question yourself. You're like, what did I do wrong?
Mm-hmm.
What did I actually do to deserve it? No, then it's only now that you realise I didn't do nothing to deserve it. I didn't do nothing wrong. But you always question yourself, you always blame yourself to some sense of speaking. But the side is, I'm glad it only happened to me. I'm glad it didn't happen to my brothers and
the
sisters.
trauma's all yours.
That's the thankful side, it is nothing happened to my brothers and sisters.
Yeah.
So the
Tell
trauma
me-
and living where it's like,
Yeah. Tell me about, obviously there's another man involved as well.
yeah, there was a man called Bobby Weir. He was my dad's best friend. When I was 10-year-old, he took me away down the river and sexually molested me. Well, I'm not going to get any detail about it, but
Yeah.
I remember every detail about it. So I remember I eventually run away. I think it was after a couple of hours. And you can imagine a young kid, 10-year-old, being sexually molested for 2 hours by a grown man. So I run home, I tried to tell my mum, but I couldn't tell my mum. I couldn't find the words to tell her.
Yeah.
I didn't know how to tell her. I was only 10-year-old.
Of course, yeah.
And of course that has a massive impact in your life as well. Because you've got all this inside your head and you don't know how to speak about it. You don't know who to tell. You don't know if you can tell your mum. You just can't find the words.
Mm-hmm.
So that's inside you and it's building and building throughout the years.
So with that, when you was 10 years old, did it only happen the one time with
Yeah.
this fella? How come you knew that was wrong, but not the time with your dad's? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I know. I don't know. I couldn't actually see how I knew it was wrong, but I just knew.
Yeah.
And I run away.
Yeah.
I really can't answer that one there.
Yeah. Your opinion as well. Why do you think he did it to you? Your dad's friends. Do you think your dad in on it?
That's a hard one to question because him and my dad were very, very close, and I used to keep birds and that. I used to go into the budgie hut and used to find porno mags, etc., etc. So
Yeah.
I don't know what they were involved in together.
It's just a big coincidence, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just
But
become a big coincidence.
your dad's doing it to you, then his best friend comes along and he targets you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Probably thinking there's no consequence.
yeah. And eventually, with him, there was consequences. Eventually, plucked up the courage to go to the police, and eventually got charged with putting the sexual offenders for life. So yeah, that was one bit of courage I had to manage to do with him. But unfortunately, I couldn't do it with my dad because I just didn't want to hurt my mum.
Yeah.
Because there was this overwhelming fear, like, okay, what happens if my mum doesn't believe me? Or what happens if my mum ends up single with 4 kids? All that goes through your mind.
Yeah. You don't
And
want to
it
hurt
plays
your
on
mum at the end of the
And
day.
it's like, I'm going to be responsible for that. And it was a fear inside you because I just didn't want it. My mum didn't deserve it.
Yeah. Of course. So then, you're 15 now. You're realising this is wrong. How did you get out of this? How did it stop?
I stopped it myself. I said, look, no, I'm not doing it. You can't do this to me, this is wrong. I knew myself it was wrong at that age.
Because you're a young man at this
So
point, aren't you?
I started distancing myself away from my dad, you know. But he was still my dad, you know.
Still gotta see him,
He
haven't
still
you?
played the part. He was my dad.
Mm-hmm.
But unfortunately, the things he'd done wrong, and you know that you get to the realisation like this is wrong. It shouldn't be happening. So you start pulling away yourself, saying to yourself, right, this isn't going to happen anymore.
Yeah. Did you ever think, why me?
I often, you know, that's a fundamental question we ask. Why me? What did I do to deserve it?
Mm-hmm.
Why me? Why should this man who is sworn to protect you and look after you and care for you, why the hell would he do that?
Your own flesh and blood.
Your own flesh and blood. The thing is, I could never answer it. I couldn't find an answer myself, you know. Yeah, it's one of the questions, but you know what? I'm glad it only happened to me. Because I don't know how my sisters or my brother, if anything happened to them, but I know how hard my life turned out to be.
Yeah.
So I don't know how it affected him. I don't know, but God forbid that anything happens to them, you know, but yeah, it's a hard one.
It is, because I've spoken about this in the past, even with I was telling your story last night to my partner. I said it's a hard one. Like, she says, "Is it an illness?" And I said, "No, it's not an illness." I was like, "I'm attracted to women with my partner, women with bright hair and tattoos.
Yeah.
That doesn't make me ill. I'm attracted to her.
Yeah.
You can lock me up for 10 years.
Yeah.
I'm going to come out. I'm still going to be attracted to her
Yeah.
because that's in me.
Yeah.
And I think these men are attracted to children.
Yeah.
And banging them up for 10, 15 years isn't going to
It's not
change
going
what
to
they're
change them.
attracted to anything.
It's not going to change. I mean, you get all these paedophiles who abuse and sexually molested children have been in jail. They come back out. It's not changed them.
Yeah, it's
They're
not,
just going
it's
to go
not
back
going
out
to
and do
you.
the same
It's
thing
not going
again.
to you.
People say it is an illness. In a sense, of foreign speaking, yeah, it is an illness. Is it really?
I think they call it an illness because it's disgusting.
Yeah.
I think that's just an excuse.
I think it's just an excuse to
Yeah.
cover it up.
Yeah.
You know?
It's what they're attracted to, as
Yeah.
horrible as that sounds.
It is. It's not. No,
Yeah.
it's disgusting that a physical grown man or a physical grown woman can be sexually attracted to young children, and the things and the horrendous things they do to young children. It's beyond words sometimes.
And it's even at the age of 4 or 5.
Mm-hmm.
I've got daughters 7, 6 and 2.
Yeah.
And I think of their small bodies
Yeah.
and a grown man, it's fucking...
Yeah. Oh,
Do you know what I mean?
it's just as I say, it can warp the imagination.
Yeah.
No, people can think about it. They can say, "Oh, it could be like this," but until that actual person went through it, you can speculate.
Yeah. Like, I'm disgusted thinking about it, and you actually went through it,
Yeah,
and you're carrying that.
yeah. It's a burden I carry, and I'll carry it to my dying days.
Yeah.
You know, but I've learned to talk about it. I've learned to share my story.
Yeah.
One of my biggest successes in life was going to Andy's Man Club. Oh, that was interesting.
Well, we will come to that.
Yeah,
That's further down the story.
yeah, that's fine.
So, you're now 15.
Yeah,
You said to your dad, listen, this is wrong.
yeah.
No more. And was it okay just stop, or did he?
I just stopped.
Didn't try again?
No, basically because I was at an age where I knew it was wrong.
And he's obviously probably worried.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there was never conversations in the daytimes, for example, like, you ain't going to say anything, are you, John?
No,
Nothing at all.
Not a thing.
Yeah.
Not a thing.
It's quite unheard of, isn't
I wasn't
it?
threatening anyone. Don't tell your mum, don't tell her
Yeah.
that. But I got this in my head where it's like, if I tell my mum what's going to happen,
Yeah.
and it was a fear. It's a fear that grew inside you. Like, if I tell my mum what's going to happen, is my mum going to believe me? Is the family going to split up? And you think to yourself, well, if the family unit breaks up, I'm going to be responsible for it.
Yeah.
And that's a fear you have. You know, your mum ended up being a single parent, bringing up 4 children. That's a fear that drives you inside your head.
Yeah. Like, he could have gone to prison and your mum still not believe you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely, yeah.
And then you've done
But then
this.
it becomes his story against my story.
Yeah. Adult versus child.
Yeah,
And he could just say, oh, he's angry because I said he needs to get a job, he needs
Yeah,
to do this, and
exactly,
he was just
yeah,
using it against me.
yeah. Plenty of excuses have been made.
Of course. So then it stops.
Yeah.
Carry on from there.
Life, life just for me was just normal after that. You know, I was brought up in churches and that.
Did you tell anyone at this
No.
point? No, okay.
No.
You're carrying
Not
it.
carrying the burden. I was brought up in churches. I run boys' brigades. I was brought up in youth clubs, youth fellowship, prayer groups. I run youth clubs. I run prayer groups. You know, a point in life, all I wanted to be was a minister. I just wanted to be a Church of Scotland minister. No, it would have been a great thing for me to do. But I got to an age where I was 18, and that's when I started having problems. And that's when I turned to drink, and the realisation that all this stuff was coming out of my head, and I didn't know how to cope with it. I didn't know how to deal with it.
Did the demons start before the drink or when you started drinking?
They were there before it,
Okay.
and drink was a way of coping with the demons.
And then how bad did you drink and get?
Oh, it got very bad. Every weekend I was out getting bluttered, partying at friends' places, getting drunk, just absolutely paralytically drunk.
How were you when you were drunk?
I ended up always cuddling in the toilet.
Yeah.
I just dumped myself into a stupor. I just threw myself waking up in the toilet and obviously been thrown up in the toilet all night and you're throwing up blood, etc. But it just become my way of coping. It become my way of suppressing all the feelings, all the emotions and all the demons inside my head.
Why didn't you tell anyone?
I didn't think anybody would believe me.
Yeah. But you could have gone to like a GP.
I just didn't think they would believe me. I was scared. I didn't have the courage.
Yeah. Was you worried what people would think of you?
Yeah.
Like even people saying they didn't believe in you, but then having that label that you were sexually abused and molested.
Yeah. There's that stigma.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like at that age, obviously I'm got my mature head screwed on there, but at that age you'd be known as that kid who was molested.
Yeah, but you got to remember, back in the 80s and 90s, etc., right, I wasn't spoken about.
Yeah.
It was swept under the carpet. As I says, in villages, etc., you just don't know what's going on behind closed doors.
Mm-hmm.
And in the mining village, if you look into it, it was actually a common practice for women to be abused by their dads, boys to be abused by their dads, mums, etc., etc.
Yeah.
No, as I say, we don't know what's going on behind closed doors.
Yeah.
But if you look at the research and really look into it, it's actually been quite horrific. Unfortunately, as I've done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're at this age now, you're drinking to forget,
Mm-hmm.
suppressing these feelings, and obviously these feelings are going to build up and up and up.
Yeah, they did, yeah. Oh, they did.
And then you're at that age as well, where you're meeting women yourself.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I was still involved in the church and that, and I met my first girlfriend. I'm not going to mention names, but it was like, head over heels and loves, etc. And the relationship moved on through the first year, and we got so close together. It was like, you come to stay at my bit, and all of a sudden, just like something switched on in my head, like bump, I run.
Yeah.
I was terrified. I was so petrified of taking that next step in the relationship. But looking back, the thing that snapped in me, and you don't realise it until you can look back, was the fear of becoming a dad.
Why is that such a...
The fear of having a child, the fear of me becoming an abuser like my dad, a sexual abuser like my dad. That's an overwhelming, fundamental fear. Any guy who's been sexually abused, 70%, 80% of guys who have been sexually abused in some shape, form or way actually don't go on to have children because they're scared.
Yeah.
Absolutely terrified, just in case. Because it's like a fine line, there's this line and this line. Go back on walking into normality, have a relationship, have children, and the effects of having the children's scary. Or you go on this side where you go in a downward spiral.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, I went in a downward spiral.
Yeah. So how long did this fear for you of, I don't want children, last?
Until my son was born.
Yeah.
I was 2002,
Yeah.
when my kid was born, my son, that's when you realise, like, what was it all about? When the fear was like, it's hard to really put into words, but it was just an overwhelming fear. What if? I mean, I grew up and I had relationships with girls, and I destroyed the relationship because of the what if. I met girls who had young children. It would have been an amazing relationship. I knew it could have worked, but they had a child, and this head went, boom, what if? It's like a switch come on. What if?
Yeah.
And that fear, overwhelming fear, it made me run away.
Yeah. I think people listening won't understand that fear because they haven't gone through it themselves.
Yeah, the fear is, it's an overwhelming fear. It drives you, it haunts you.
Yeah.
Basically, that's what it does. It haunts you. Every time I had relationships and you thought about children, etc., but it haunts you. It does it, but it's an overwhelming fear. What if? But there was relationships as well where they actually didn't have children, but as soon as they spoke about children, it just snapped back into place.
Yeah.
I made myself in one relationship be better than the man I was. Although it was me, she was in a business and authority, and I actually lied to make myself look better so I could match her. And obviously through time my relationship destroyed as well, but that was through my own doing. But at that time I didn't realise I had mental health problems.
Yeah.
It's not until later on in life that you actually realise and piece things together, you actually suffer mental health problems.
Mm-hmm.
And things just snowballed out of control.
Yeah. So with the drinking and you were stuck in that, just burying to forget everything, getting in relationships, getting a bit serious, then mentioning kids, and you were like, no, because I don't know how I'm going to be as a father. I don't want to be like that, but
it's a fear.
Who knows?
It's an overwhelming fear.
Because, as well, I'm going to justify that fear, like that fear now for you. You only have one dad.
Yeah.
Your dad's doing it to you.
Yeah.
Is that what a dad's meant to do?
No, that's
is that what a dad's meant to be like?
Yeah,
you're going
exactly.
to be thinking
so you think that all the time, and it runs through your head. You know, this is when you're young, right? You look back at it, right? You know, you think, so this is normal. You don't know any different.
Yeah.
You accept this as the norm. You know, but then you get to a point in age where you realise, like, this shouldn't be happening. You know, but it still haunts you, and it haunted me to the, what if I end up like that? What if I end up like that? Because when you suffer abuse, there's two roads you can take. There's a road of normality, where you become a normal functioning human being in society, or you actually become an abuser yourself.
Yeah.
Because of the impact of you being abused, it's imprinted in your brain, and you think it's normal. So later on in life, you're actually going to become an abuser yourself.
Yeah.
So there is that way, and there is the two roads there, and that was a fear. You know, that was a fear, like, what if I have a kid and I end up becoming an abuser like my dad? You know, because you learn about these two roads and these two paths, and it's a terrifying fear. It's a terrifying fear. It haunts you, and it haunts you, and it haunts you, and you just can't go there. I was scared to go there. I was scared to have a relationship with people who had children because it was overwhelming fear. What if I end up hurting your kid?
Yeah, and that's something you don't want to do.
Absolutely, 100%.
So then, 2002, Kieran's born.
Oh, yeah.
And when you looked at him that first time, did you go, what the fuck was I ever thinking?
Yeah. Partner fell pregnant at the time, and I was like, oh, fuck. I'm going to be a dad.
Did you try and run?
No.
Okay.
Because the responsibility had come on. But there was still this fear.
Yeah.
Because we were working, right, and working in that culture, we took a lot of drugs at work. So you were in the morning, 8 o'clock in the morning, you were on site, you were absolutely ripped out your face, stoned out your face, or coked out your face. That was just a culture. But taking the drugs, it started opening up the mind, and then it become questions every day, what if, you know, then this overwhelming fear, it's built up over the years, just becomes so much prevalent, and it becomes scary.
Yeah.
And it rattles in your head, through your head, no, and one day going to work, we were smoking black. So before we went to work, we had 5 joints, you know, and a couple of grams of coke between us, ripped out our faces, and I just snapped. I stopped the van at the side of the M8 in Glasgow, decided to walk home. And I was walking home, and it took me about 8 hours to get home walking, and all I was doing was crying. No, it was just that fear, what if.
Yeah.
So eventually I got home, I said to my partner, I says, I'm scared. What if? But I was able to talk to her about things that had happened, and share things that had happened in life, but it's just that overwhelming fear.
So you had told her?
I told her a lot of things, yeah.
Did she understand your fear?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, she eventually understood my fear, but, you know, a month before he was born, as I said, I had an absolutely massive breakdown, and I was walking home crying, sobbing my heart out. You know, people were looking at me walking, but I was still ripped out my face. And I had a joint in my pocket anyway, so I was smoking as I was walking home, and I can't even mind getting home. But I eventually got home, and I just says, look, what if I become like my dad? What happens? You know? Then she says, like, don't worry, it's not going to happen. But she was there for us, she reassured us. My boss says, you need some time off work. I'm like, no, because if I had time off work, then all I was going to do was dwell on it.
Yeah.
But, you know, she goes into labour, go to the hospital, and your son's born. And you're like, what the fuck was this all about? You know, you've created this wee child, no, I still remember this. I still have the feelings of cutting he scored. You know, and you're like, what was it all about?
Mm-hmm.
And all the fear just melted away.
Yeah.
You know, all that fear of become the dad and what if, you know, you're holding this wee bundle of joy and this love that it's overwhelming love I had for this kid. It was like, oh man, what was it all about? But it tamed that to have a child, to put that to bed, so to speak.
Yeah. I don't think you'd have known until, unless you had some serious amount of counselling, which wasn't really available back then.
Oh, no.
Do you know what I mean? To come to terms with it all, to say you're just in your own head, or actually experience it and know that you're going to be that protector.
Yeah, but you know, before all that, there was a lot of mental health crises.
Yeah, so that's what I was going to touch on now. The drink, the drugs.
Oh, drugs.
The wild 90s.
The wild 90s, dancing, partying. I spent 15 years in nightclubs indoors. Bouncer. I done all my bodyguard training, etc. And done a lot of things, and a lot of things I'm ashamed of. But drugs was a coping mechanism. I'm not here to promote drink, drugs and violence as a good thing. You know, because it's no, but that was me, that's how I coped.
Yeah.
And you get into the world, working in clubs 7 days a week, and drugs become a way of coping. When I say drugs, I mean copious amount of drugs. You're partying every night, you're partying every weekend, you go to your mates' houses, and you're like, well, okay, everything's organised in a brain, it's just a way of escaping things, because everything started snowballing, and it become so overwhelming, and that was the PTSD kicking and the trauma. You have nightmares, you're having flashbacks, so you use drugs to suppress it.
Yeah.
And of course, you're taking ecstasy tablets now, and you've got 12 hours of dancing and partying, but then you're taking more, and you're not taking cocaine, and you're mixing cocaine, ketamine and ecstasy together, so you can just absolutely obliviate yourself out of everything, out of society. You just want to be in a different planet, a different world. You just want to lose yourself, lose all the feeling you've got in you, lose all the terrors, lose all the hatred that's inside you. You just try to be normal, but in the world of drugs.
Yeah. How was you as a person?
Growing up, I was just a normal guy, you know. But then, after my first nervous breakdown, I was committed to psychiatric care. You know, and that's when I really started talking about things. Obviously, you've got the psychiatric nurses and counsellors and that there, you know. I started opening up. They teased it at me. And I was a big lad, I was a violent lad, I was an angry lad. And they teased it at me. Of course, I had a massive breakdown, And you're in the hospital, you're in this safe bubble, you've got medicated, you've got this, you've got that. And it's great, because you're getting the help you need. But unfortunately, a time comes where you've got to leave, and you go into the big bad world again, and I just went bang.
Put that mask straight back on.
The mask went straight back on. The animal, the evil person that I created, I wouldn't say I was a hard man, but I was an evil, violent man. A lot of things I really not spoken about I've done, but as I say, it's moving forward and coping and dealing with them, you know. A lot of things I'm ashamed I've done, but at the time, that's how I lived. And
can't change it.
You can't, absolutely can't change it. It's how I can move forward, you know. And so it become an escape. The drugs just become a pure escape.
Yeah.
And in another dimension, another reality, and you just lived in a bloody drink and drugs and violence, you know.
Yeah, the drugs are just the next level up, aren't they, from the alcohol, really? Yeah. And then the booze goes hand in hand with it.
The drugs, mate. Often question myself sometimes how I'm still alive.
Yeah.
You know. The amount of drugs that I would consume on a weekend was scary.
Yeah.
And you're mixing cocktails, we used to call them cocktails, you know, you crush ecstasy, ketamine, cocaine together and mix them, put a 12-inch line, and the competition was to see how far you could sniff it. You know? And so you're sniffing one side with one nostril, get the other side with the other nostril, all of a sudden, bang.
Yeah.
You know, you're just all the reality's away, all the pain, all the suffering, all the trauma, everything just, boom, you're just lost in a world of being absolutely fucked at your face.
Mm-hmm.
And to me it was a good place to be in.
Yeah. But looking at that, like the booze only masked it for so long.
Yeah.
Then you go onto the drugs.
Drugs, yeah.
And that's going to mask it for longer,
Yeah.
but not going to be forever.
I wasn't forever.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? You have to keep upping your drugs, upping your drugs, upping your
That's when you
drugs.
start mixing cocktails, and get stronger and get better, so you just get your face more, and it lasts longer, and you just continue doing it. Then it becomes a way, it becomes a culture of life, and it actually becomes my coping mechanism.
Yeah, and obviously at the same time, you had a reputation. So this guy drinks drug cocktails 7 days a week, and then violence is coming hand in hand with it.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
How bad did that violence get?
Oh, horrendous, big man. Absolutely horrendous. It wasn't me.
Yeah.
But this is the animal I created. So I wouldn't get hurt again. So nobody would hurt me. I created this animal.
Do you think-
I created this beast.
As well, you being that way, you'd be the last person anyone would ever think was sexually abused.
Absolutely.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
You portray this big, physical, hard man. You portray this violent guy. But unfortunately, this is what you portrayed. But this is what I've done.
Yeah.
I take responsibility for my acts. I take responsibility for what I've done. But I can't change it. It's how I move forward as a person and grow. That's the hard bit,
Yeah.
But luckily I've been able to do that, I've been able to move forward with a lot,
Because in reality, you're a violent man.
But,
You're known for that.
yeah, unfortunately.
But on the inside, you're a scared 15-year-old boy.
Yeah, inside you're scared.
Yeah.
You're just a normal, big, cuddly, loving guy. But there's this mask you put on and this persona you portray because you don't want to get hurt again.
Did you wanna, at this point, out yourself, tell the truth?
Yeah. You get to you get to a point where everything's gone bang. It's like everything's going boom, 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 boom. Everything's coming through your head, and you just get to a point where you can't cope. You can't deal with all the feelings. You can't deal with all the emotion. You can't deal with all the hatred. You can't deal with all the anger. I got to a point where I need to end this. I just want to kill myself. I describe it as being in a black ball. It's just, you're in a black ball and there's no window, there's no light. There's nowhere to turn, there's nowhere for help.
Can't get out.
You can't get out of it, so I decided jumping off the 4-foot bridge was the answer. So I drove there and I just abandoned my car. I was told the engine was still running, the door was open. I walked up to the middle of the 4-foot bridge and jumped. I was up over the other side, one hand on it, and the police caught me and pulled me back. I was taken back to the psychiatric hospital again. And that was my first suicide attempt.
How did you feel when it wasn't successful? Glad or?
Angry.
Yeah.
I was angry it wasn't successful because I was like, fuck, I'm still going to have to deal with all this shit. And I don't know how to deal with it. I don't know who to talk to.
What was the psychiatric help you was getting? How was that help?
Because
was it useful or?
they believed in what I was saying.
Yeah. They believed you, but then...
They believed me, what I was saying, and you're medicated to help you.
Yeah, that's what I was asking.
You get to the point where you're going to go back into society again, and there's no help there. You try to get an appointment with a psychiatrist, a psychologist, a sociologist, you want to talk, you need this help to, right, how am I going to deal with this shit in my head? How am I going to move forward with it?
Yeah.
But the help wasn't there. So that's, unfortunately, I got to the point where suicide was my answer.
When you was going through this period of your life, the drugs, the violence, how was your relationship with your dad?
Oh, didn't exist.
Yeah. Did you avoid it at all costs?
I avoided my dad. I actually avoided my family. I become very distant from my mum, and very distant from my dad. I hated my dad with you can't even describe the hatred I had for him, but I was scared because I was going to kill him. I had this overwhelming urge, right, to kill him.
I think if I see him, I'm going to kill him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's where I kept my distance. The hatred was, yeah.
Did they know what was going on in your life at the time?
No. It wasn't until I tried to commit suicide when I realised, Unfortunately, because of the state I was in, there was a family member who had to come and pick me up. Of course, it ended up being my dad. My fucking dad came and picked me up at the hospital, eh? And he's like, what happened? I says, you. He says, what do you mean you? I says, you put me in this place. All the things that you've done to me over the years, it was because of you and because of your pal Bobby Weir. I says, you've put me here, you've put me in the hospital, you've done this to me. This is how I am now, this is what happened. And the other started crying and goes, oh, I'm sorry, I was only trying to show you what to do. I says, trying to show me what? I could never fathom that. You know, we're in the car park, and he's asking what happened, where. And I said, it was you and Bobby Weir. I says, all the years of you sexually abusing me, and Bobby Weir, your pal, sexually molested me. And my dad was shocked about that. You know? I says, it was yous that put me here. I says, it's yous that's destroyed my life. It's yous that's fucked me up. It's yous that turned me to the drink. It's yous that turned me to the drugs. It was yous that created an animal, a violent, evil bastard. Because I swore nobody would ever hurt me again.
And his answer for this was?
I was only trying to show you. I'm like, what the fuck were you trying to show me?
How did you not fucking kill him there and then?
Because of my mum.
Yeah. Because that's like, obviously he's thinking on his feet, isn't he, in reality? He ain't got time to think of a fucking decent lie.
Yeah, because it was because of my mum.
And he can't deny it to you.
No. Excuse me.
And his excuse was, I was just trying to show you what to do.
Mm-hmm.
What the fuck does that even mean?
I don't know. Does it I thought about it after. I said, what are you trying? He's trying to show me how to become an abuser. That was one of the questions that went through my head. So we drove home. I ended up having to stay with my parents for one safety. And my mum was sitting crying in the house, eh? And she goes, what happened? I says, Bobby Weir sexually abused me, or sexually molested me. I couldn't get the word out about my dad because I didn't want to hurt my mum. I was that close to just saying that and all the things my dad done to me. But the look of fear in his eyes, the look of fear in his face, you know. Mm-hmm. But I just couldn't hurt my mum.
How did your mum take the fact?
Oh, she was devastated. She was broken. But my dad was angry at the same time. This is the thing I couldn't understand. My dad was angry because he sexually molested me. My dad was going to find him and kill him. And I thought to myself, what the fuck?
It's just an act, isn't it? It's all
just
an act.
You know, but you don't see that. I'm like, what the fuck? Why are you going to go and kill? You know, and this all goes through your mind. And you're like, but you're the biggest cause of me being in this state I'm in. You're the biggest cause of me turning to drinking, drugs and violence. You're the biggest cause of me changing to an animal.
It was probably him acting like that, would then do this big bravado over he's your protector, and it's disgusted by that. And if you ever did out him, he'd be like, no, look how I acted before, you think I did that.
Yeah. But I snapped. He stayed across the street for us at the bottom, and I went there and I smashed in his door.
Bobby's sisters.
Yeah, Bobby's. I went in and I put his door in, and I went from, and his pal was up there, and I'm like, you know, your pal's a fucking beast. I just told everybody, you know, I didn't care. Your pal's sexually molested me, he's a fucking beast. You know, all the anger and hatred was coming out, and I was going to absolutely slaughter him. But the police arrived. And they come up-handed. Yeah. So you've got this 19-stone animal guy who's lost the plot, you know, going to kill the guy upstairs, and obviously Emil Copper, he's like, you know, he's talking away, and I'm just like, come fucking near me, mate, and I'll do you and all. I'm standing at the stair at the top of the stairs, and you've got 2 or 3 cops coming up to you, and they're all guys, you know. And they're like, you know, obviously they've got to get control of you, but I just turned around and threatened him, if you come near me, I'll fucking do you in. I was the hatred and anger and the venom was spilling out me. I think after about half an hour, I think it was, there was a female officer. She walked up the stairs and she goes, "Come on, John, come on with me." And I just calmed down and walked away with her.
Yeah.
Because I was always brought up to believe, you never hurt women.
Yeah, respect women.
You always have that bit of respect for women, And she was just what I needed at that time, But obviously, I was left to my own devices after, because I wasn't charged or anything like that. I was left to my own devices, And I just went,
Downhill again.
Yeah.
Is that because now it's in the open, it's real?
Yeah.
Like you've now said it, so it's actually real.
Yeah, the actual reality is there. I've confronted my dad, I've confronted him as well. I eventually got him charged, and he was charged with sexual offences and put in the sexual offenders register.
But no prison time?
No prison time, no. But we're still with issue with my dad. I couldn't say nothing, I just didn't want to hurt my mum.
Yeah.
I just didn't want to hurt my mum, she didn't deserve it.
Yeah. It's a hard one. I understand your point of view, but it's also letting him walk free.
Yeah.
Zero
punishment for his crimes, but
he can be portrayed as this fucking nice, loving dad, and the truth, reality behind it all.
But there was this thing, I know the truth and reality, but then I couldn't hurt my, I just couldn't bring myself to tell my mum. I just couldn't. I just didn't want to hurt her. I didn't want to destroy the family dynamics.
Yeah.
But then there's always that thing that plays in your head. Will they believe me? Because basically it was his word against mine.
Yeah.
But then I could go into detail every single event that happened, because every single event that happened lives in your head. This is where all the nightmares will come. This is where I suffer from a thing called traumatic PTSD, and this is where all the nightmares come, and they haunt you. And they haunt you. And it's every night. You've got these backflashes and these dreams. You wake up screaming, fighting, shouting. Also wake up screaming, fighting about the things I've done in life, the violence. But mostly it was always about the abuse.
Yeah.
And it was hard, it was bad, because it even affects me to this day.
Yeah. So what was the point for you where you was like, no drugs anymore, no booze anymore, I'm going to talk?
When my son was born, that was a reality in life. That was like the point where I needed to change.
Change for him.
Aye, change for him. Be strong for him. Change who I am. Change the man I am for him. And I managed to do that. Yeah. He was my saving grace. Yeah, he was the kid that saved my life. I wanted just to be this dad, this loving, big, lovable, caring, huggable dad, Unfortunately, the relationship with him and with my mum, his mum and myself broke up, That was probably through my own mental health problems again.
Yeah, it happens, doesn't it?
Yeah, but here we go, another one. That was in my head. I said, here we go, fucking another one broke up.
Yeah.
At that point, I was quite unwell for work injuries, etc. So I just stopped working. So that's when I point, look, I'm going to be the biggest role I can be in my son's life. I'm just not going to be a weekend dad. I'm going to have my son as much as I can and play a massive part in bringing up my son, which I was fortunate and lucky enough to do.
Yeah.
But I didn't realise I had clinical depression either. You don't realise this till later on in life. I got so depressed. I put a stool in the hallway, tied a rope up into the eaves in the flat, decided that's it, I'm going to end it all. You just couldn't cope with it all because I was still screaming and fighting in my sleep. I still having backflashes. And I thought, well, that's it, enough's enough. I couldn't cope with it anymore. But then, all of a sudden, there was this picture of my son walking in, seeing me hanging for a rope. And I'm like, I can't do this. I couldn't do that to him.
Yeah.
It's no fair to him. So I just snapped at it. Got myself into a reasonable state, sat and cried in the sofa, and just moved on with my life after that.
Yeah. So, you've been in psychiatric care.
Yeah.
You're getting help for that moment.
Yeah.
But not to live day to day.
After it, no.
Yeah.
You're in psychiatric care, as I say, it's a safe bubble.
Yeah.
You know, you've got all the help you need there, but then you go back out into the big bad world, back in society, there's no immediate help.
Yeah.
It's a waiting game. As far as it's a waiting game to see a psychiatrist, it's a waiting game to see a psychologist, it's a waiting game just to get the help you need.
Yeah.
And of course, things spiral out of control. I spiraled out of control. That's when all the drinking, drugs, and really the violence become really, really bad. It become a coping mechanism. As I say, I'm not here to glorify it. I definitely not here to glorify it, but for me, that was my coping mechanism. That's how I dealt with everything that was in my head.
Yeah. But the period I want to talk about is you're now a dad.
Yeah.
You want to be the best version of you
Oh,
you can.
hell yeah.
But there's zero mental health help for you.
No.
So you're trying to be the best version of you
Yeah.
while fighting demons and PTSD and depression.
That was hard.
How can you be a good dad while fighting that at the same time?
That's
Do you know what I mean? Like,
that's an interesting question. Now,
I'll flip it around, like, I'm bipolar, but I'm medicated.
Yeah.
And if I'm unmedicated, knowing how I can be unmedicated, I wouldn't be the best version of me.
I think at that point in life, I think if I can remember quite right, I actually went and spoke to the doctor.
Yeah.
And I started getting medicated for depression, etc. And I continue on the medication, and it sort of put me in a level balance with life.
And they said you got clinical depression.
I have clinical depression, traumatic PTSD, anxiety, stress, and I had serious anger issues. But this was all the accumulation. Being abused.
Mm-hmm. So the clinical depression, how does that, did it and does it affect you?
I think now that I've started speaking about it and I've started to learn more and understand more, I'm very aware. I can be very aware. I'm a very quiet person-ish. I would say a loner in a lot of forms, you know, but I love my own company, but I also love the company of a very, very close circle of friends. And it's a very close circles of friends that I trust.
Yeah. And the PTSD, even though you're trying to deal with everything and you're speaking about everything now, how does the PTSD still affect you?
I still have dreams about events and circumstances. Flashbacks, yeah. I wake up shouting and screaming. I was fine in my sleep. I was actually the other week there. That was last week. I was 3 nights in a trot.
Yeah.
You know, I'm medicated so I can sleep. It's sleeping tablets, but they don't stop it.
Yeah.
They just let you sleep, but they don't stop the dreams. So we don't have any control of our dreams, eh?
Mm-hmm.
And I wake up shouting and screaming. No, I've got a very understanding partner. My partner Sophia knows everything about me, but she has a calming touch with us. You know, if I start screaming, shouting, she just touches me and speaks to me, and I just sort of calm down and go back to sleep again.
Yeah.
But that's what I live with, and I can't stop it. I wish it would go away. I wish I didn't have it. I wish I didn't live with it, but it's something I live with, you know. And I think since I started talking about my own journey and my own mental health, it's helped. It's helped me fundamentally because it's let me understand more.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and to say, I'm not this special, but it takes a big man to stand and talk about all his problems.
It does.
It does.
Mm-hmm.
It takes a big man to open up and talk about their own mental health problems, and
Yeah. So when you decided to speak out about your dad, obviously you ain't gone to the police or nothing, but how did siblings take that?
Oh, that destroyed my family.
Did they believe you?
No. I don't have any contact with my brother. I don't have contact with my sister. Obviously my twin sister passed away, but no, I don't have any contact with them whatsoever since I told them. Basically, they don't believe you because obviously they see this dad as dad being dad, but they don't believe that dad would ever do this. They want physical proof. They want actually going to court, documentation saying that this happened, the police, etc. You know, So yeah.
Is your dad passed now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I couldn't even tell you what day passed when he
Yeah.
died.
No. Because
I don't care.
Because obviously, being devil's advocate, they're going to say immediately, "Oh, you're saying stuff now he's dead. You're saying stuff now he's passed."
I said I spoke to him when he was still alive.
Okay.
Yeah, he was still alive at the time when I spoke to him. But I spoke to him about him. He just didn't believe me. Periods. And they basically never spoke to me. I've never seen them. I've got two new nieces. I don't even know what they look like.
How was that for you? Like, you've finally plucked up the courage. You've been sexually abused for 10 years. You've gone drugs, alcohol, violence, tried to kill yourself 3 times, psychiatric care, and you finally took up the courage to go, "I've gone through all this because of what Dad's done to me."
Yeah.
And then they'll not believe you.
That's their choice, mate. There's nothing I can do about it.
Not bother you. Well, how did you take that?
I was angry at the beginning, I was angry, and my brother said to me, "Oh, that's between you and my dad." That said enough to me there.
Yeah.
My sister, obviously, she was shocked, but it is what it is. No, I can't change the way they think about it. I can't make them believe it. I know what happened. They don't want to. They choose not to believe it. Then so be it.
Yeah.
So obviously, I'm distant from my family. Period.
So yeah, your family not believing you?
I think after everything that happened with my own life, I think I was expecting that anyway.
I look at it as now, like I always say, my family's like my kids and my missus. My family's in this house.
Yeah.
Anything else around that?
My blood family is my blood family. There's nothing I can do about it. They don't want to believe me. There's nothing I can do. I can't force them to believe me. It's their choice in life. They don't want to believe me, and so be it. But then the distance you lose contact with your brother, your sister, your nieces and nephews. I know my sister's kids, but I can't remember, 20 years ago or something like that, last time I seen them. I've got 2 nieces that I don't even know what they look like. I've never had contact with them. Well, that's the hard part. It's family. It's blood.
It's like you're still being punished for your dad sexually abusing you.
Yeah. But my family to me now is my son.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
And my partner.
Yeah.
That's my family.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's important to me. I mean, it's like my son is just everything to me now. You know what I mean? And obviously, I've got my partner Sophia at the moment. We are so strong together, and she's good. She's been good for me.
Yeah. When your son was born, Kieran, and he's getting to the age 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 as a toddler, how protective was you with outside people?
Oh, yeah, protective. Oh my God, very, very protective.
Because I know it happens. Yeah, obviously, it's happened to you.
Yeah.
But when people say child sexual abuse,
yeah,
I presume the case of it being male as well.
Yeah.
Not. Do you know what I mean? Not very often.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone always presumes it's a little girl.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously, it's happened to you, so you're going to be shoulders up, ultra protective over your son.
Very, very protective. I'd say sometimes overprotective, but that was me. I wanted to bring my son up to be the best he could be, to be honest, to be truthful, to be caring, to be polite and courteous. And hopefully I've managed to do that.
Because even now, like every now and then, you put the news on, and you find like in nurseries.
Yeah.
You have like female nursery assistants taking pictures of the toddlers while changing their nappies.
Horrendous.
And obviously so to me that'd be like at the back of my mind, but it's going to be at the front of your mind because you've lived it.
Yeah. When you see things like that, a lot of things come haunting back.
Yeah.
It lives with you. But it's what I call triggers.
Mm-hmm.
Something you can see in the television triggers all the emotions, triggers all the feelings, triggers all the thoughts and events that happen in your life. Simple thing like Old Spice. My dad used to wear Old Spice. Smelling that triggers.
Yeah.
Well, people don't think about things like that triggers, just something simple like that. Smelling Old Spice triggers everything about my dad. Seeing things in television triggers everything that happened to me. Seeing about rape gangs and this, etc., it triggers it all.
Mm-hmm.
But I've learned my own coping mechanisms now.
Yeah.
That's a good thing.
How do you get through day to day now, coping with that and like the PTSD, the depression? How do you get through day to day now?
Actually, really well. I've developed my own coping mechanisms. I function well, but obviously I'm medicated. I sleep well because I'm medicated.
If it works, it works.
It works,
Yeah.
mate. I've got neurological disorders, arthritis, etc. And I had to get on heavy work, so I'm medicated for that as well. I manage from day to day. Yeah, I take every day as it comes now. I wake up and I often wake up and go like, why the fuck am I still here? You know. But then you think, oh, I've got my missus, I've got my son, I've got my stepdaughter, I've got all my friends, and they're all worth living for.
Yeah, of course. But even now, like, you got your trigger points, Old Spice, for example.
Yeah.
What if you walk past someone and you have a whiff of that? How do you not flip that switch?
I've learned my own coping mechanisms. Basically, I just walk away and just take the 5 minutes myself. That's the hard bit sometimes, you know, because it's like a switch. It's banging, and you're like, fuck all these, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And obviously, we are going to bring your son on in a bit because obviously you're affected, but because you're living with PTSD and trauma, and it brings stuff back in the moment, and it's going to affect those around you as well.
Yeah.
Like you're living with it, but they're living with you, living with it.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, the biggest thing is people don't realise that you're living with all these issues and with these problems, right? But your kids living with them as well.
Yeah.
Because they see them. They see you getting angry. They see you, you know, walking away getting angry because something's triggered. And you've got to walk away and go to the room and have 5 minutes, or go to the toilet and sit there and have a couple of minutes yourself, because you don't want them to see it, but you're very aware.
Yeah. This is a question for you now as well. I spoke about this yesterday. Do you think it's okay for your children to see your emotions?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, absolutely. It's okay for children to see you cry. I don't see why. I used to be like, no, I'd go away and, you know. But when your emotions and your anger and that, you know, it just takes a kid to come and give you a cuddle, you know.
And that's all you need, yeah.
That's what you need at the time when it's all right, you know. But you've learned to control a lot of it through life, but it's been a hard journey.
Yeah.
A very hard journey.
So we spoke about you opening up to your siblings about your dad. You was dismissed. Then what about when you started telling others about it?
Well,
why did you make that decision?
You know, I started off with Kieran's mum. I really started talking to her about it, you know, but then obviously we split up that, and I went through quite a bad time of depression, and you say to yourself, fuck it, here's another one. Oh, here's another one, it's my fault. You blame yourself. Whether it was my fault or no, but you still blame yourself. So you're like, fuck, here's another one away. And that was a hard one to go over, because obviously having Kieran, you know, it's an amazing experience, you know. But then you get to a point where your son's seen a lot of things that he shouldn't have probably seen. You've done a lot of things that your kid shouldn't have seen. So I think at the age of 16 we had an honest talk about things, and I told him basically everything that happened in life. I explained a lot of reasons, a lot of me. I was open and honest about it with him. And I think it's that point where he should know. So that's when really the healing started. Yeah. You know, because I was sitting talking to him, I spoke to my friends about it. I've got a select circle of friends, you know, I spoke to them about it, and they've listened. And they all believe me, which is a great thing. But my healing started when I actually started speaking to my son about it. Yeah. That was the beginning of the journey.
Do you think it's important to be believed?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's where the healing starts.
Yeah, because you've lived it.
Yeah.
And you want someone to No, but you're actually telling the fucking truth. Even back in the day, and still today, men aren't talking.
Yeah.
Why do you think men ain't talking?
Oh, guys wear masks, yeah, and they think it's weak. We all have this bravado. We all have this image of being the big man, the hard man, the father, the look after, the carer.
But you used to think that yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
I did as well, about me.
Yeah, there's always this, there's a stigma. There's a stigma I get if guys talk, they're weak.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people just struggle with talking. A lot of people can't open up and talk about their problems.
Does talking help?
Absolutely, mate. It's the best thing I've done.
Yeah.
Talking, I've learned to understand. I've learned to understand a lot about myself, the hows, the whats, the whys, the wheres. I found courage in it. I found strength through it. And I found peace through it. When I moved into a relationship, we started living together. Obviously there was the nightmares and the trauma and the dreams were happening, and she didn't really know this. So I got an appointment with the clinical psychiatric nurse and the doctor, so I went and spoke to her and sort of opened up to her about a lot of things, and she goes, right, I recommend this organisation called Andy's Man Club. I'm like, Andy's Man Club? So I looked into it. So, it's a talking group. Plucked up the courage to go. Walked in. Sat down, went, fuck that, that's not for me. Walked out. I was still having the issues, still having the problems with the dreams and the traumas and that, and I plucked up the courage to try again. So I went to the group and it lasted 10 minutes, got walked out. Couldn't cope with it, couldn't cope with the people, couldn't cope with the group in general. It was just me as a person. I didn't mix well with people. I tried again the following week. I lasted a wee bit longer. Walked out. Tried again the following week. So after about 8 weeks, I managed to sit in a whole meeting.
I think it shows you wanted help though. Because
I needed help, mate.
Yeah.
And listening to them, listening to what was about the organisation and reading about the organisation, I thought, maybe this could really help. So through it, I've been going to Andy's Man Club for 4 years now. And for me as a person, it's one of the hardest things I've done. One of the hardest things to actually walk through that door, sit down with a group of men and talk about your problems. That is very, very hard to do for any man, but for me it was tremendously hard. I struggled so much. The first time I opened up, it was like blah blah, everything came out, and the boys were like, whoa, hold on a minute, you can't say that. But then I learned to speak in a terminology where it wasn't raw.
Yeah.
And by sitting there sharing my own story and the things that's happened to me, if I can encourage one man, that one man just to open up and talk about their problems, then it's brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
It's an amazing organisation. I would highly recommend it to any guy who's struggling. Go on to the website, check out. There's about 320 something clubs now, I think.
Yes, there is, yeah.
328 clubs or something like that. Any guy who's struggling, go try it. It might be for you, it might not be for you. You don't know until you try it.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it's the best thing I've ever done in my life. I wish, and I often say this, I wish there was an Andy's Man Club when I first had a respect to him and into psychiatric and care and came out, where I could go and continue to talk and share my experiences. But back then it was taboo. Back then you don't spoke about it. Back then there wasn't any organisation to help.
Yeah. And
it was a waiting game for help and support you needed. But being able to walk in there to a group of strangers, it's scary. It's hard.
Mm-hmm.
But you grow in confidence. You find strength listening to other guys. There is a set of rules, the biggest rule for me is everything in the room stays in the room. The confidentiality is utmost precedent within the group to me. And just knowing, look, they're not going to judge you. That's a massive thing for me.
Yeah.
You know, but I walked in, obviously there was this overwhelming guy full of hatred and full of anger and this like, you know, there was obviously this like, oh fuck, you know. But through time, you sort of mellow, you get used to the guys, you get used to the environment, you get used to, you get to the, used to say, you get used to talking.
Yeah.
But then you start opening up about things that's happened in my life, and it's like a massive weight's lifted off your shoulders. They don't judge you as a person, you know.
Yeah.
It's great. I mean, for me, Andy's Man Club is a saviour to me. It's gave me peace in my life. Being able to talk and share about my problems. As I say, if I can encourage that one man sitting in the group to talk, open up and talk about his problems, that's brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's all about that one man, giving that other man courage and strength to talk. And just by me sharing my story, if I can do that, you know, encouraging, it's great, it's worth it.
Yeah.
And I've been gone 4 years now. I'll not change it. I'll keep going on a Monday night. You know, I call it my reset. You go on a Monday night, you talk about your week, things like that, how things have been and that, etc. You know, you talk about what you talk about. And it resets me for the week. Because if the shit's happened throughout the week, you know, you can just unload.
Yeah.
You know, and there's no judgment.
Mm-hmm.
You can just unload about it, and you go, I walk out the group feeling right, yeah, brilliant, I can cope with the week.
Yeah. It's that I plug Andy's Man's Club, that poster is on the end of every single one of my episodes. Yep. It's a safe space.
It's a safe, secure environment where you can talk about anything.
Yeah.
But obviously there's a set of rules.
Yeah.
And you've got to stick by the rules, eh?
Mm-hmm.
And the fundamental rules there. And that's the way the rules are.
Yeah.
And it's for their own safety as well, their own protection as well, for your safety and your protection. And yeah, it's an amazing organisation. I shout loud and proud to be a member. And I'll continue going as long as I need to go.
Yeah.
You know, I go as far as say it's an addiction.
Mm-hmm.
It's an addiction being able to talk, it's an addiction being able to help, but an addiction being able to help people.
Yeah.
It's so rewarding. It's so rewarding, me just sharing my story as well. It's so rewarding for me as a person.
Yeah, to
It's
inspire
like,
someone.
It's inspire. You inspire other people.
Yeah.
It's might be the, you know, no man's story is greater than any other man's story.
Yeah.
Just because my life has been colourful, etc., you know, and this is my story, that man's story is just as important as my story.
Yeah. And you might be coping a lot better for the next person.
Yeah, and you can encourage him how to cope and how to deal with things.
Yeah.
It's a brotherhood.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, mate, it's a brotherhood, and I've met amazing friends. It's a brotherhood that you'll not find anywhere else. It's absolutely a fabulous org. To me, it's an amazing organisation. As I keep saying, I wish it was there all the years ago when you really needed it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll plug Andy's Man Club forever.
Mm-hmm.
And as I say, there's 328 clubs or something like that. You know, any guys struggling out there, on the website, you'll find your nearest club. Go give it a shot.
Yeah.
It might be for you. It might not be for you. But you don't know till you walk through the door and try.
Mm-hmm. It's there and it's free.
It's there and it's free and you got a cup of tea and biscuits.
So we've got Andy's Man's Club, and there's so many other good organisations out there, which are all volunteer-led, building their own communities.
Yeah.
But what about the government? What about their help for you in today's society?
What you going to say, it's non-existent?
It's hard.
It is very hard. Everybody shouts mental health, oh we do this with that, but it's still hard to get help.
Yeah.
It's still a waiting game. You go to the NHS, it could be 6 months, it could be 18 months. It's no the NHS's fault. They don't have the funding.
Yeah, exactly that.
So this is where all the voluntary charities come in.
But it's hard because you got like, say me for example, I'm bipolar. I need constant help, reviews, all that. I'm under psychiatric care. That's who deal with me. But say So I've got my help there, which is consistent. I need that.
Yeah.
But their funding's been cut, okay? They're dealing with it. Then you've got other people who are struggling in the moment today, maybe because of the cost of living crisis or a relationship breakdown, and they're also going for the same services as me to get help. And then on top of that, they're getting fucking cuts. So the cost of living's getting worse, more people are struggling mentally. So then they're all going for help because they need it in the moment, rightly so.
And there's no help there.
And then there's no help there because they're cutting it. And then they'll say, during the 6-month waiting list, but I might not survive 24 hours. And they want me to wait 6 months.
Yes, that's a hard bit, eh?
Yeah.
Doctors in psychiatric care, round about my area, they recommend Andy's Man Club. I went round countless doctors' surgeries, dropping off the wee cards. Can you pass these into the psychiatric nurses and that, etc. And we get so many people walking through that door who have been recommended by psychiatrists, by other care professionals, as a first step, because it is a waiting game. It's phenomenal, the waiting game. Even if you go down to private care, like you go to Spire Hospital, right? It's private. It's 5 months before you get to see somebody.
Yeah.
So it is a constant waiting game. So in that time and moment, you're desperate. Andy's Man Club.
Yeah.
At least you can go, you can sit, you can share your problems, talk about your problems, and get support off other guys who have went through similar things. And in that moment, it gives you that time and space to talk, that time and moment to share your problems, that time and moment to unload, that time and moment to cry if you want.
Yeah.
It's a safe, secure space. And just going to that club can make a difference to you. In that time and moment when you're desperate and you can't get the professional help that you need, you can go to this place like Andy's Man Club.
Yeah.
And that time and moment can help you so much, can help you to move forward. It is hard. It's a question to do it, it's hard, mate. But, I recommend Andy's Man Club. That's me. But there's a lot of other charity organisations out there. There's a lot of charity organisations. But this has worked for me.
Yeah.
This has helped me so much. It's made a fundamental change in my life. It's given me a peace because now I can talk about things. And that's the biggest thing, because when you start talking about things and that, it lifts the weight off your shoulders.
Yeah, talking helps.
Massive weight off my shoulders.
And that's all a lot of people need to do, is just talk.
Yeah.
Just be in a safe environment where there ain't booze involved, or egos,
that's it.
or judging. Just
that's it. It's all about that 2 hours. You could go there and there's somebody you don't like, but it's you being man enough to put that 2 hours aside. That's what it's all about. It's having that 2 hours or whatever. And there's always help there. And there's obviously other agencies. If it's desperate, you can get in touch with other agencies, etc. There's always, like say, if somebody needs a duty of care, then you might end up having to phone the police to help and support them, mental health, and there's always that extra bit, But fundamentally, it's a talking group. For me, as a person, it's the best thing I've ever done.
Yeah, and it's set up for free by volunteers, and you chose the care.
It's set up by volunteers, run by volunteers. The facilities are volunteers. And you got a cup of tea and a free biscuit.
Win-win.
Win-win. Yeah.
So John, with all your experiences, what would you say to any man listening who's gone through sexual abuse, trauma, and he's sat there not sure what to do, or he's on that downward spiral? What would your advice be?
Go talk. Go to Andy's Man Club. Or go to any other organisation and talk about it. It's the hardest thing us guys do. It's so damn hard. So I say, it took me 8 weeks before I could sit in a meeting and actually start talking about it. But when I started talking about things, I wasn't the only one.
Yeah.
And it's like a massive weight lifts off your shoulders.
Do you think, obviously you've built all this trauma up, then you've told it the first time.
Yeah.
Does it get easier the second, the third, the fourth?
Yes. And the best thing is you're not judged.
Yeah.
There's nobody there to judge you. That's a good thing. To me, it's a good thing. You're not judged.
Yeah. And then another question. The families of those living with survivors of sexual abuse.
Yeah.
What advice would you give to them, the families, from someone who's lived it?
That's a hard question, that one, you know, because a lot of families don't believe. A lot of families judge,
Yeah.
and you've got that burden of, oh, they don't believe me, or I'm going to be judged about it.
But what advice would you give to someone's support network?
As a spouse,
Yeah.
just be there for them. Be there and keep supporting them, keep
Yeah.
encouraging them to go every week. You know, partners play a massive, massive part in the continuation of men going to like Andy's Man Club. Partners encouraging men every week to go and talk. And that's a fabulous thing,
Yeah.
because your spouse gives you the courage and gives you the strength to go and talk, because it's doing you the world of good, and it's making a dramatic or dynamic change in your life. It changes you as a person, you know, because like a weight lift it's like a weight lift off your shoulders.
Yeah.
And women play a massive, massive part in encouraging their men to go and talk.
Yeah.
It's not just women, by the way. It's not, you've got guys for all walks of life.
Yeah.
You know, it could be your male partner. You know, it's about them encouraging
Yeah.
every week,
Yeah.
and you get the strength of your partner to continue in your journey of healing.
Yeah.
And I think if you do keep your partner in the loop, they understand there's good days and bad days.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
But a lot of guys, there's guys I'm sure that goes to Andy's Man Club, but didn't tell their partners.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there is.
Yeah, of course there is.
But
Yeah.
I talk, my partner, she'll ask me how things went, and I say, things went really, really good. What did you talk about? I said, sorry, I can't tell you,
Yeah.
because it's confidential. You know, it's a confidential side, yeah.
Yeah.
But I'll talk to her how I've been feeling, you know,
Yeah.
about you, and get the strength and the encouragement you get off your partner to continue to go. It's a fundamental part of it.
Yeah.
They think it's all about guys. It's guys having the courage to go and talk. It's a guys going to have this and guys doing that. But it's a fundamental part of guys getting the strength off their partners
Yeah.
to go and talk about it. And I look, it's a great thing, honestly. It's a great thing off your partner. Just say, look, aye, you continue doing this. You get the strength for your partner. You know, because she sees it's doing you the world of good.
Yeah.
It's changing you as a person. You're unloading. You're getting away off your shoulders. You know.
You bring each other up.
Yeah.
That's how it is. You bring
Yeah.
each other
You
up.
lift each other.
Yeah.
You lift each other and you grow.
Right, John. Some quick fire questions now, yeah? Just yes or no's, yeah? You being sexually abused and molested as a child, does that make you any less of a man?
Absolutely not.
You trying to kill yourself, crying your eyes out, psychiatric care, does that make you any less of a man?
Hell no.
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 What does it make you talking out?
A strong, brave man.
Amen.
Strong, brave man who gets power for talking.
Yeah.
It gives you confidence, it gives you strength, it gives you power to be the man that you are.
Right, last question, mate, before I bring your son in to get his point of view. And now, I ask everyone this question, yeah? You sat here today, all your knowledge, wisdom, lived experiences, you can go back to a 13-year-old you. What would you say to yourself?
Tell. Speak. Open up about it.
Do you wish you would have spoken about your dad?
I wish I'd spoke about my
Yeah.
dad. Because I might not have travelled the road I travelled. But back in my generation, you didn't speak about it.
Yeah.
And there was always this fear. And there's always an underlying fear, mate. You didn't realise it till you grow up and you learn to start putting the jigsaw together. You know, and there's always that, what if people don't believe me? What if my mum doesn't believe me? What if I destroy the family dynamics?
Yeah.
What if my mum becomes single and bringing up 4 kids? What's the impact in the family?
Yeah.
People hear about it, people talk about it, people gossip about it. How's it going to affect your mum?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's why I never spoke about it.
Yeah.
Basically, I didn't think anybody would believe me.
Yeah. Right, we're going to bring Kieran in. So, we're going to do something different this week. This is Kieran, John's son, and John's lived a life because of his experiences. And it's interesting to get Kieran's take on it all because he's watched his dad struggle, he's watched his dad be overprotective, he's seen the ups and downs. So, I just wanted Kieran's perspective of a son of a survivor. So, Kieran, how you doing?
I'm alright. Really happy to be here. Thanks for having me and my dad.
No. Definitely need subtitles on for you.
I'll do my best to accentuate my words and make them more clear.
I appreciate it.
Would it be alright if I just said a quick thing to the camera?
Do you think?
That's a bit strange now that I'm here. Just a quick thing. You watching at home, whether you're alone or with anyone, age, race, colour, creed, man or woman, don't care. Whatever your hurt, whatever your trauma, whatever it is you've been through, whether you think it's insignificant or whether it's something as brutal as what my dad's went through, just know, me, my dad, and Vlad, that rhymed, that was quite good. Me, my dad, and Vlad, we believe you, we care, you're not alone, mate. We love you. Keep going strong. It's okay to feel the fear, it's okay to feel the pain. Everyone's human, nobody's perfect. But keep going strong, keep going brave, we love you.
Cheers, mate. So, Key.
Oof.
Yeah, you're on the hot seat now. You growing up,
Yeah.
what's your earliest memories of your dad being? Obviously, he's saying he was protective and that to you, it's just your dad. But what made you realise he was different to other dads?
Well, I never really knew that he was different to other dads. You know, as a kid, he was my dad, you know. In my head, he was this big, lovable teddy bear kind of guy, and you know, I always knew that he loved me to bits and he would do anything for me to protect me and to look after me and to make sure that I was cared for. But like, even with close family members, like my uncles for instance, if they were over, even if they maybe stepped out of line or, you know, were a bit too rough and playing with me, my dad was always there. And like I always said, like that my dad stayed close by, so I never really noticed that my dad was any different to other dads. At the end of the day, he was just my dad.
Yeah.
Obviously, from a young age, I knew that my dad had a strong love and care for me, which I was always quite grateful for. I was a happy kid, you know. Loving my mum, loving my dad. Fair enough, they split up when I was young, but it never really affected me.
Mm-hmm.
But I was always a lot closer with my dad than I was with my mum. I think that was just because, you know, my dad's protection was from afar, and I knew he was there, where my mum's protection was like bubble wrap sort of stuff. Like, you know, if I went walking across like a wall or something on the way to the shops, mum would be like, "Oh," whereas my dad would be like, "If you fall, it's funny," sort of thing.
Yeah.
Not in a bad way, but you know. But it wasn't till, you know, as I got a bit older, you know, I realised how fortunate I was for my dad to be my dad, as some of my friends in childhood didn't really have a relationship with their dad, or their dad might not have been there, or even if they did have a good relationship with their dad, the common thing that was always said was, "Oh, I wish your dad was my dad," or "like my dad," or like, "I wish my dad was like your dad." And that's kind of when I started to realise, you know, oh, my dad must be just extra sound. But it was never you know, my dad's like different in any other way. It was just, my dad must seem like a cool guy.
Yeah. So then, one day as you've got older, your dad sat you down, told you about all his experiences. How was that for you knowing your dad went through that?
Honestly, I never really saw my dad as different, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's a horrible thing to find out that anyone's went through that. And obviously that was my dad. You know, I grew up hearing stories of what my dad, you know, got up to when I was younger. Like when he was working on the doors, you know, fights that he got into, and, you know, people he met, people he spoke to, like those sort of things. But to me that was just, you know, those sorts of stories. And I sat down and really thought about it, and that's when things kind of made sense through childhood. You know, I was under the impression that it was normal for my dad to be screaming in his sleep. I just thought that was a side effect of being a man. It made sense when I was about 13 or 14. I understood that my dad suffered from PTSD. I didn't really understand what PTSD was. I just understood that it was a side effect of trauma, because obviously when you're in school you're learning about shell shock from World War One and these sorts of things. And I know my dad didn't mention this, but he had a brief career in the military as well. So I'd asked him when I was younger, this was before I'd found out, did your PTSD come from the army? Because in my head, PTSD could only come from the army.
Yeah.
Like that's how I learned about it, and that's what I thought it was from. And he goes, no, I really thoroughly enjoyed the military. I learned a lot, I'd done a lot, I'd seen a lot of things. So in my head I was like, how do you have PTSD then? Like, where's this from? And then he told me, you know, your grandfather, my dad, sexually abused me from the age of 5 years old to 15, and it was terrible. And that's when things started to click. You know, my dad painted a picture in my head, and this might sound strange, but every young kid who has some sort of relationship with their dad has probably been told at some point or other, you know, my dad's, you know, quite a hard guy, you know, you go to school, my dad could batter your dad because my dad done boxing, or my dad could batter your dad because he was in the army for 20 years or whatnot. To me it was always, my dad could batter all your dads. Bruce Lee, Steven Seagal, Jackie Chan, The Rock, Mike Tyson, name it, bring them on. All at the same time, my dad would beat them all. And that was what was in my head, and I was always so sure that my dad was capable of protecting me. And in my head it was, you know, he just says it because he wants me to think that he's cool and that I can feel safe. But then he told me, and that was when I realised he wasn't, you know, trying to paint a bravado picture. He wasn't trying to come across as this big person. He wanted me to think that, God forbid, I went through the same thing that he did, that I would be able to come forward and tell him. Because you hear a lot about people when it's happened from someone outside the family, or even a family member, when asked why they didn't come forward, it was because they typically say, well, this person threatened to hurt me or my family. And I realised at the time that my father wanted me to know that I could come forward and that my dad could protect me and my family.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's your dad preparing you. If it ever happened to you, your dad wants you to know he's the hardest motherfucker around.
Exactly.
So if anyone ever threatens you, oh, if you tell your dad this and this will happen, well, actually, my dad's hard as nails.
My dad's harder than you, so
Yeah.
I'm going to kill him.
I actually watched a documentary a year or so ago, and he was actually interviewing a paedophile in America, and he said he'd look at the families, he'd look for broken homes,
Yeah.
and obviously just a single mom. There's no man there. And then he'd also look at the men. Is that man a threat to me? If he's not, then I mean, yeah, it's game on. Yeah. So I think that is important.
That's an actual systematic style in this country as well, by the way.
Yeah.
It's noted the same when children are abused as a single mum or they're a threat to me. How easy is it going to be? If I get caught, am I going to get smashed off the dad?
Yeah.
You know, if I get this, is that, you know. It's actually quite a normal trait throughout the world.
Mm-hmm. It's just like a bank robber planning their getaway, a paedophile's planning his fucking threats around him.
Yeah.
What's the likelihood of him getting caught or hurt in the process?
Yeah.
So Kieran, you knowing everything you know about your dad, how did you support him? How do you support him?
Just by simply being there and listening. It's not a difficult thing to do, you know. It can be hard to hear because obviously that's someone you love and care about. You know, that's my dad.
Mm-hmm.
In my head, fae, birth, like, this might sound strange, but I can never imagine my dad as a kid. To me, my dad always looked like that when he was born.
Yeah.
He was born at 6'2" and buff.
Yeah.
Like my dad didn't have the dad bod now. Like, believe it or not, he used to be 18 stone and a bodybuilder. You know, I'd watch him do feats of strength. You know, he would go outside and, like, we had a neighbour who had a teenage son and they were out in the garden with like a bar with weights on it and they were just, you know, deadlifting and that, just doing what kids do. Bear in mind I was like 4 and my dad walked out and he's like, "Give us a shot," or "Sorry, can I have a shot?" Sorry, still trying to not say the words. He went, "Can I have a shot?" And, you know, they were like, "Aye." So they chucked every weight they had onto the bar and my dad lifted it up and dropped it like it was nothing. And that's kind of what I grew up with around my dad.
Yeah.
So I understand that I keep veering off topic, but yeah, the best way to support any family member, whether it's your dad or anyone else, even if it's not family member, is be there to listen. Whether they talk or not, or they want to talk about it, just being there as a friend, it can do wonders.
Mm-hmm.
Like, amazing things.
What if, as well, this is for anyone listening, say for example your dad had never told anyone, he only told you, what would you say to him? Keep it between us, or would you encourage him to talk out?
If it was me at 16 years old, I honestly couldn't tell you what I would say. There wasn't very much going through my mind at that time. But if it was now, the first thing I would probably say is, you know, well done for finding the strength to say something, because it can't be easy. Like, it really can't.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would tell him, you know, maybe go find a trusted friend, anyone at all, even if it's one of my friends, and speak to someone.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, like, I can tell people about it now because my dad has come forward and he's been open about it and he's given me the permission to tell other people about it.
Mm-hmm.
So I can, you know, make friends with someone and explain, you know, this happened to my dad. And some might see it as I'm going around, you know, talking shit about things that have happened, you know. Oh, you're telling people your dad's personal things. And it's not in any attempt for that. It's, you know, for all we know, you know, that person could have gone through something like that. And by me saying, you know, this happened to my dad as well,
Mm-hmm.
they might genuinely turn around and go, do you know what, that also happened to me.
Yeah.
And believe it or not, that did actually end up happening once.
Yeah, you're inspiring of it. Like, your dad's Superman to you, it's quite clear to see. But then he's open about his stories, and then you're telling people about it, and then you never know, you might give someone the courage to open up and inspire them and go, actually, your dad is Superman, and it actually happened to me as well.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, it's... My dad's not Superman. He's human, like the rest of us.
Yeah.
He's made more mistakes than anyone can count. More mistakes than I'll probably ever make in my life. Who knows? But at the end of the day, the fact that he's human is what makes him him.
Mm-hmm.
My dad's my hero. I've had two people in my life who I would call my hero, and that's my uncle and my dad. You know, my uncle, he went through a lot of quite terrible things in his life as well. And I would dare say traumatic things. But he still goes strong every day, and he's still willing to step up and help out whenever is asked of him. You know, he's a good person, and whatever you feel about someone, you know, maybe just give them the benefit of the doubt, you know.
Yeah.
You don't know what they've been through, you don't know how their day's going.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Yeah. People hide a lot with a smile.
100%.
Yeah.
Sometimes your happiest mates are the ones who really aren't happy.
Yeah.
And, I mean, you hear it on the news, you know, such and such unfortunately took their life. And most of their friends and family go, I don't know why. They were so happy, you know, they were the life of the party, or they were always making jokes. And the simple fact of the matter is, they went through the pain. Why would they want to spread that to anyone else?
It's the mask you hide,
Yeah.
unfortunately. You know, it's like your pain and suffering, you don't want to inflict it on a lot of other people, because you don't want them to have the pain and suffering that you're suffering. And yeah, and by me talking to him and encourage him, you know, and encourage him, look, it's actually alright to talk to your friends about things I've went through. You know, it's him giving his friends the strength, look, it's actually alright to talk about this.
Yeah.
And obviously with Andy's Man Club as well, you know, it's encouraging younger people to go and seek help, you know, and it's hopefully encouraging them and giving them the strength, like it's actually alright to talk.
Yeah. I think it starts with us as parents.
Yeah.
We need to show emotions to our kids and show them that it's okay to be emotional too, and then encourage the talking through that. Like, I can put my hands up to my kids. My kids might watch this one day and they see all the fucking shit I've gone through, the mental health, suicide, everything. Yeah. And you know what I mean? My dad's got through it, my dad's alright, and the same goes for you. And I think that's what we need to pass down to our kids.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. We need to encourage our kids, eh? You know, we need to encourage our kids. It's actually alright to talk. It's actually alright to cry. It's actually alright to suffer. It's actually alright to be sad, you know. But you as a parent, just to be for them and pick them up and lift them and say, give them a cuddle. And tell them it's actually alright. There's no shame in it. Because unfortunately, it's like a lot of people live in this hard society where, did he cry, slap, did he talk about this, did he do that, did he do that? And it's actually more common than you think. Yeah. And the biggest problem that we have at the moment is with the social media side, the influencers and social media side, is they laugh, they joke about you, they make fun of you because you've got a comment, I felt really bad today, and everybody seems to attack you, you're an asshole for feeling bad, you're this or that, you know. And unfortunately, social media has a massive negative impact on a lot of people's lives. A lot of things you actually see in comments of people on social media, because I call them keyboard warriors. Yeah. You know, that's what I call them, keyboard warriors. And they're absolutely horrendous, some of the things, you know. And how do you police something like that? Yeah. It's a very, very hard thing. You know, then there's a side of social media, the bullying side of it, which is predominantly really horrendous, you know, which unfortunately it's caused young people to take their life. Yeah. You know, there's all that this generation deals with, but I didn't have. Yeah. You know, I wanted to call somebody, I went to a phone box outside, or you went to meet them or something like that, you know. Yeah. Whereas this, it's like everybody's lost in the phone. Everybody's stuck in the phone. All the comments, all the posts, you know, it's on the phone. If you make a comment saying, oh, well done today, you're looking lovely, you've done well, blah, 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 there's always somebody there to make a negative comment about, oh, you're talking about this, you're saying that about it, and you just make a pleasant comment. Well done today, congratulations, you're looking really beautiful. To me, that's just a nice comment to somebody. That's to uplift somebody. But there's always a keyboard warrior saying, you're this, you're that, you're the next thing, you know. And it's a fundamental part of society, it's a negative part of society, and it hurts so many people. But we don't really realise it, we don't really see it because it doesn't affect us. Yeah. And the way society is now, we used to run around as kids playing out. Now kids are just, their social life is on their phone. Their social life's on the phone. Our social life used to be on the streets, riding around on bikes. Their social life's on the phone, on their Xbox, and closed into this bubble because parents are scared.
Yeah.
Parents are scared to let their children go out and run in the streets now. It's a sad situation.
Yeah.
You know, we grew up where we run about. We went out in the morning. The lights came on. We came back for dinner.
Mm-hmm.
That was my generation.
Yeah.
Where there probably was issues there, but there wasn't the fear there. Whereas a lot of parents now have the fear of my kid getting in the street to play, and it was really sad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Some quick fire questions for you now. Just yes or no.
Yeah.
Because you're the son of John, survivor, yeah? So your outlook and your opinion obviously is going to mean a lot to the sons of survivors and family members. Does it make your dad any less of a man, from your opinion, for he was abused as a child?
No.
Does it make him any less of a man? For he gets upset, he has PTSD, he wakes up screaming. Is he any less of a man for that?
No.
Is he a bad dad?
Never.
No. Thank you very much. That's all I needed. Anything to finish on from you, John?
Thank you very much for having us, mate. It's been an absolute privilege and a pleasure. It has. And hopefully just with us talking, you and myself, we're really talking now, just been encouraging guys, look, it's actually alright to talk.
Yeah.
There's nothing shameful about it.
Mm-hmm.
It takes a stronger man to sit and talk about his issues and his problems.
It does. Do you know what I mean? If people want to fucking laugh at me because I openly admit I've tried to top myself or cried, I'll still slap them. Doesn't make me weak, does it?
Listen,
make me weak, yeah.
listen, if people want to laugh at me, I'm like this. Does this face it? Gives a fuck.
Yeah, exactly.
At the end of the day, a military veteran goes to war. Is he any less of a veteran or a man because he's crying?
Exactly.
Obviously not.
Mm-hmm.
He still went to war, he still served his country, he's still done these
Mm-hmm.
things. Well, no matter what it is, you know, why can't you be vulnerable? Why can't you take a minute to go, oh shit, something's wrong here? Why can't you take a minute to yourself?
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, it's no always that easy, big money.
Yeah.
Everyone deserves to be in a world where they should be able to talk to someone.
Yeah.
Where they should be able to cry. And I mean, you can ask many men, and a lot of them will say the reason why I am the way I am is because if I cry or I act vulnerable in any way, this pedestal that I've been put on by family members or anything crashes immediately, and I become worthless or useless to them. And they do feel that way.
Yeah. People think they're less than man. People think they're weak because they actually open up and talk, but it actually takes a stronger man to open up and talk about his problems than it does. Because for guys, we're the big macho men, that I've always said. You know, we're the carers of the family. We're the fathers. We're the dads. We're the uncles. We're the brothers. You know, we're that image of, look at us, we're all right, you know. But inside, it's the mask we carry. It's the mask, you know, and it's the burdens we carry, and it's not an easy thing for a guy to do. Is talk.
Yeah.
So all you guys out there, you know, I encourage you to open up and talk about things, and hopefully, our discussion today, hopefully it gives people the courage to go and talk.
Yeah. I'd say just drop the mask. Nobody gives a fuck if you're a big hard man.
That's it.
Nobody gives a fuck.
Nobody gives a shit who you are.
Just talk. Everyone would much rather
I'd put it this way, I'd rather sit and listen to your problems than go to your funeral.
Exactly that.
Much rather hear your story.
Exactly that.
Every day.
Right, cheers gents for coming. I do appreciate it.
Oh, big man, it's been sweet.
Thank you for listening to From Rock Bottom. If this episode spoke to you, please subscribe, like and share. It really helps us keep doing this work and bringing these stories to light. You can also follow us on social media for updates, behind the scenes content and ways to get involved in the conversation. Most importantly, if you're struggling right now, please don't suffer in silence. Reach out, talk to someone, seek support. You are not alone, and you are absolutely worth life. Take care, keep fighting, and we'll see you in the next episode.